Our final video here is how do we assemble all of this together. We just finished cutting the notches for the hinge on the bottom and the hinge on the top. So now we're going to create a new assembly, and we're going to place both of our parts in here. So I'm going to place the jewelry box bottom after cut. I'm going to place just one of those, and then I hit the escape key. And I'm also going to place the jewelry box top after cut, and I'll put one of those in there and hit escape. Now, these two assemblies, I only want this one to stay put. So I'm going to come over into my model bar here, right click, and I'm going to ground the bottom piece. So now the top can move and the bottom is stuck. If you have not created a hinge, these are the following steps you need to attach the top to the bottom. You are going to do a constrain, and you're going to grab this corner right here, not the face, but this corner, and I'm going to spin my view, and I'm going to attach that to this corner of my top piece, and I'm going to apply, and then lastly I'm going to flush the outside and the outside and apply. So now if I attempt to turn this, it is going to pivot on that line right there. The only issue is the top just loops through the bottom. So to solve that, what I like to do is I select both of these over here. Notice every time I click, it drops the other one. So I'm going to hold my control key while I click on both. I'm going to right click and make them part of a contact set. Puts this little magnet looking symbol. Then in my inspect tab, I'm going to turn on the activate contact solver. So now when I close this, let me turn that on. When I close this, it physically sees that there's a part there. And when I open, it sees that there's a part. This could be a fully finished jewelry box design. For those of you that created a hinge, I'm going to show you the steps for attaching your hinge in here. So I'm going to come in, drop down. I'm going to get rid of the mate that I did before and the flush that I did before. And I'm going to move this part out of the way. So in my Assemble tab, I'm going to place two of the hinges that I've created. And you guys, if you did this, should have assembled your hinge pieces with a pin. I'm going to put 1 and 2. This is a little trickier than just attaching the corners. So I'm going to use my constrain, and I'm going to constrain the bottom of this hinge right here to the top of that notch that I cut. Now I'm going to apply it. I may need to cancel and move this hinge, but I also want to mate the end of my hinge with the end of my notch. Apply it. And I have a third dimension. I want to attach the axis for this pin. So you notice this axis line. I want to line that up with the edge of my piece right there so that everything pivots right around that corner. And I apply. So I'm going to attach the other hinge, mate, and apply. I mate the end with the end and apply. And then I finish by lining up my axis with that corner and apply. So now the hinge is attached here. Next thing we want to do is we want to attach the top to the hinge. I'm going to grab the bottom there and attach it to this notch I just created. Apply it. I'm going to drop my tool because I want to move this a little bit, because I have to attach the end of my hinge with the edge of that notch. Apply. I'm going to cancel and move it one more time, because the last thing I need to do is constrain that axis with that axis and apply. Now if I attempt to spin this, it won't let me turn anything right now, because this is how I design my hinge. So we need to turn on a special setting for the hinges. We need to right click on them and we need to make them flexible. So I'm going to right click and make both of them flexible. So now this is able to spin. Do you notice that one is not attached, although it's spinning correctly? So if I were to close my lid, open it back up, I need to add one more constraint. I'm going to mate that edge with the notch, apply, cancel, and we should have a fully finished jewelry box that has been cut with rabbets, that has been sanded up, cut apart with a bandsaw, routed some notches for our hinge, and this is looking pretty nice. That's all for now. Good job, everyone.